no rules. Do the lower score. There's one rule.
Yeah, that'll do.
That'll do.
That'll do, donkey. Welcome back to Inside the Studio here at Franklin Bridge, the No Mulligans Podcast here. I'm Jack. This is Scott.
I'm going to hold that in my head for so long.
We're going to laugh at it every week.
I know. It's so good.
But thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen to this podcast. If you're listening to it on Spotify, go ahead and give us that follow. If you're listening on Apple, why don't you go ahead and pause, rate us 5 stars, and leave us a review. That'd be awesome. And then also, too, we're on YouTube now. Search No Mulligans Podcast on YouTube, and you'll see our new branded channel. So Apple users, I think you're still seeing the old Champions Playbook logo, but we're about to get that fixed. And if you're over on Spotify, you see our brand new logo that we had. So Erica Firehelm actually designed that for us. And it looks good. I think it looks really
great.
good.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. It's really where we want to go for the future.
I think we're talking about dropping some apparel. We've been discussing it a little bit. So if you have ideas, shoot it our way. We need to find a way to do a version of that doesn't have our faces on it.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get it
which
done.
I think will be cool.
We've had some designs that Franklin Bridge has put out and that you've also had on some of your shirts that I think look really good. So I've got no doubt we can make some really good apparel, especially with No Mulligans, dude. That's a great little slogan.
Yeah, we're doing. We just met with our big marketing team here for the club, and our whole department's got some changes.
Yeah.
Coming, like special logos for each of the areas. Like
our
junior academy will have their own logo.
Well, and we recently got the Franklin Bridge Performance Institute too. So everything that's a part of that.
You'll have the Performance Institute, and then there'll be separate logos that sit underneath that. So
sweet.
Separate verticals for that.
Sweet.
Cool. Yeah. So
man, a lot of good things have happened here at Franklin Bridge. If you guys have been over at the club recently, we are doing and finishing the inside of the clubhouse, renovating the bar area, putting a lot of that like noise that noise foam in there, so it doesn't.
Oh, dude,
airy.
It sounds
it feels
so much better.
Good, yeah.
So we'll talk about the solo here in a minute.
Yeah.
They had the solo tournament that came in Saturday night, and after I was done teaching. So that day, between Elijah and I together, plus we had a private club fitting out here that day. We taught 50 different people in one day.
That's crazy.
A year ago, that entire week, I didn't teach 50 people by myself.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool.
So kind of see how far we've come and where we're going, and all of our programs are starting up. So
I mean, not only the programs too, but I mean, we've been talking about the whole 2 years we've been doing this podcast. We've been talking about how, Franklin Bridge is really like the best place to play, and we're really starting to see that come into fruition with the putting green, with the driving range, with the clubhouse, with all the improvements made around the course, even like the tee marker, not the tee markers, the hole markers. When you go out and take a look,
those look so cool.
They look so good.
Yep. And you're going to see all this tall grass start to come in certain spots.
My God.
It's going to look like
a
golf course is supposed to be.
100%.
There's some potential redoing a number 2 and how that hole's cut to take it back to its original design. The fairway's actually supposed to split in the middle.
Now on what hole?
On 2.
Yeah.
And then you saw all the cart path work that's being done over here.
Mm-hmm.
Can't tell you what's coming there yet, but that's awesome. But love the new layout of number 1. There's 2 back tee boxes. You got one cart path that runs you from 9 to the start, and then you have another cart path that actually runs you down in front of the tee, which you'll use to tee off. So
looks great. Yeah.
One to the practice area, one to number 9, and then that other one. So it's a different layout. It's kind of back and tucked in near the houses and angles. Yeah, it's just different, dude, and it looks so much better.
For sure. A lot of new stuff coming your way, so make sure to come out to the club and come see us. So, yeah. So speaking of the solo that just happened here, it's why don't you go ahead and explain the format and just why we want to talk about it today.
So I think a couple of reasons. One, golf is allowed to be fun, y'all. Like, you don't just have to be – we talk about being serious. It's the No Mulligans podcast.
Yeah.
The No Mulligans is very serious, but it's also got a playful tone to it, right? So, like, one of the things Brooks likes to do is to have tournaments that are super chill. We had a guy who hasn't been playing golf very long who's taken, like, 3 lessons between Elijah and I, and we encourage him to play in the solo because he can. Like, that's a tournament – it's probably the only tournament he can realistically play in the whole year.
And explain why.
So the solo is – you were playing a solo scramble against everybody else. So everybody's flighted like we always do, but you get 2 mulligans on every par 4 and every par 5. You get 1 mulligan on the par 3s, and then you get 2 jokers. Now those 2 jokers can only be used on putts anywhere during the round. So that was really kind of – it's just a relaxed format. So you don't have to be any good.
Explain a joker to people.
So a joker is like – it's basically another mulligan that you can use anywhere on the golf course, but it can only be done on putts.
Yeah.
So it's an additional mulligan putt if you so need it.
There you go.
So, so it's a relaxed format, totally fun. It's Red Solo Cup is kind of that's the trophy.
It's great branding,
dude.
Yeah,
It's
for
so
sure.
good. It's so good. So I don't even drink, and I think it's awesome. So, it's just a fun environment tournament. And when we were in the building with the new acoustics in there, normally at the end of those tournaments, like you and I are having to like lean really close and shout really loud to just hear what each other's saying. And I felt like there were half the number of people in there that have ever been in a tournament, but there were at least as many as there always are.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe even more.
And so Evan was able to do the awards and people still be able to hear him even while there's still chatter. Like, it's just such a better environment in there. You feel more relaxed. It just was so good. So those improvements are great. But the solos, the reason why I want to talk about it is you would think like, oh, okay, so you get, let's see, we have, how many par 3s do we have? We have 4. So we have 4 par 3s. So there's 4 mulligans. And
4
you have 14
par
others. So you
5s.
have 28.
No, well, anything else
Yeah,
you get
so
too.
you have
Yeah.
14. So you have 28 mulligans plus those 4. It's 32 mulligans plus the 2 others. So you have 34 mulligans.
So you'd think you'd be able to shoot
Oh,
insanely
yeah,
low.
right? You should be able to shoot super low. And while there are guys that shoot a good bit lower than their norm, there's a large number of people that shoot the same score they always do and actually shoot higher.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason for that. That's why we call it the No Mulligans Podcast, right? Is like there is value to like when you have extra shots and when there's that cushion. You hear guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger talk about, people like, well, what about your B plan? It's like, no, there's no B. There's one plan. I'm going there. And until that absolutely fails out, I don't have a backup plan. When we have backup plans, we don't give it all that we have towards the one thing that's out in front of us, and therefore we don't achieve the one thing that's out in front of us. So that's what's really interesting. It's when you have that one plan, you actually stick to it.
Yeah, that's what I love about golf is it's got like a very like when you're playing a serious round, it's a very like burn the ships mentality, right? Like there's no going back. Like we quad this hole. You got to keep on playing,
Right.
like there's no,
Yeah.
and you got to make those birdies to get those shots back. And yeah, in the solo, I can definitely see how, hey, and if you've ever been out playing and you're like, hey boys, like let me hit one more off it to you off this one, like it won't even count. And sometimes that second one isn't even as good as the first. Like sometimes the first miss is better than the second miss. So I just think there's a lot of value. I think it's a tricky format because I think it is designed for you to shoot lower, but in some ways it mentally tests everybody even more in a normal round than a normal round. It feels like.
Right. So Elijah was 13 under going into his 18th hole. He was so low, dude. He was so insanely low. So he was 13 under going into his 18th hole, which was number 9. And took a mulligan off the tee shot because it wasn't close enough. The pin was back in that back right bowl, and he hit it just over the green. So he takes a mulligan, but it just tails off in the water. So he doesn't use that one. He uses the first one. And then he blades that one to the hazard, makes double, shoots 60, shoots 2 under because he didn't have any more mulligans. They're all gone, right? So he's got to play it. But he's one of the few that shot really low for a couple of reasons. One, people think, oh, I'll just get on the green, I'll have 3 putts at it. Well, that's assuming you can hit the green enough number of times to be able to do that. So people are having to use extra shots just to get on the green or just to get a ball in play. Right? So, like, well, I'm not in the fairway. I'm over here to the side, so I'm going to take another tee ball. So, like, I don't actually hit it. Like, great, you made a par or a bogey that you were going to make anyway. So, like, their score doesn't actually improve all that much. Then it's guys will hit one on the green like, oh, great, I got 25 feet, and they'll take 3 cracks at it. Well, last time I checked, the PGA Tour scoring average from 25 feet, their make percentage, is well below 1 in 3.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
well below
And
33%.
it's probably well below that too.
Right.
I think didn't we say that anything over like 15 feet is like an 8% chance or something?
Once
like
you get
that,
over
crazy like that?
20% or 20 feet, they don't make much more than 10%. There's
Yeah.
a few guys that will make
Yeah,
more
yeah,
than
yeah.
10%. But basically, you got a 1 in 10 chance. You only have 3 cracks at it. People are like, well, I'm hitting the same putt twice. I said, that doesn't make it any easier. Like, that doesn't change anything. Plus, the fact that you do have another one coming, you're not as intentional with the first one, right? So that's the kicker.
Yeah.
You know, it's you think that having the extra mulligan is the best thing. A, you got to use them in the right place. B, you don't. So Elijah's really good. Didn't use any of them off a tee ball, right? So every tee ball's in play. And then he wouldn't use it just because he hit it on the green. Like if it was 25 feet, he's hitting another one. I'm going to hit it. I have to hit it inside of 15 feet. I'm not going to make enough if I don't hit inside of 15 feet. So, you know,
It's a higher probability to hit your approach shot twice than it is to putt a long bomb.
right. Now, there are guys who've shot low in this tournament hitting several putts, but that percentage chance of making those is very low. Give yourself 10 feet closer, you get a significantly better chance of making it. So it's not just like the fact people think, oh, I get extra shots. You think that's the best thing for you. It's why sometimes once my juniors are good enough, I don't give them a second chance. Like, well, can I just no. You don't get just. Like, I don't get another one. You know, when you're playing in a tournament and you're coming down the stretch on that final hole, especially with number 9 the way it used to be, right? Like, you got out of bounds left, water right, and then you got to go over the water again. You toss that out of bounds on the first one, you're teeing again. And not because the first one didn't count, right? Like, you're teeing again and you're hitting 3. Like, that feels different. And so for that reason, it's why we shifted. And I mean, one of the big reasons why we changed the name of the podcast was because of the shift in your game. Once you were beyond that learning phase of like, hey, I'm going to hit some extra shots out here as I'm learning my motion. So there's a place for that. But then you had just kind of repetitively kept doing that. And I was like, nah, we need to actually drop off the extra shot. Either decide beforehand that you're going to go out and play, or decide beforehand that you're going to go out and practice. Like, hey, today I need to learn a bunch of different shots and practice those. I'm going to go do that. That's a different thing. Don't mix the two.
Yeah, that was definitely a turning point in my game, just because exactly like you said, there wasn't enough intentionality on the first shot because I knew that I would just drop it and hit it again.
Even if you didn't have the intent to do that, you had done it so many times that you kind of had just created this, like, you knew it was always going to be an option. Like, oh, I'll just hit another one. Now, you didn't take the second one, which is one of the things I prided you in, right? Like, you didn't take the better ball. You still played the first one. But it was the fact of, like, you always felt like, okay, now I can get the swing. Okay, now I got the swing. Now I'll go to the next hole.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a benefit to that when you're learning. One thing that I think if you're listening to this and you feel like you're in a similar position, I would encourage you to come off of those extra balls as quick as you can, because there's also a benefit to learning how to scramble as well, and knowing, all right, I hit a crappy shot and now I'm in a crappy place and trying to save the hole. And you learn, because you don't enjoy being in those situations, your body almost learns how to get out of those situations so you don't have to be in them again.
Right, and you feel the weight of being in them, like, man,
Exactly.
I don't want to be here again.
Like,
it motivates you.
When I had that awesome round that I had a couple days ago, and I had one blow-up hole, and I remember I duffed 2 chips in a row after hitting one in the water. It was like the worst hole that I've had in a while. But I duffed a chip, I duffed it again, and I was like, and all my playing partners are kind of waiting because I was still away. And I said, you know what, you guys hit your putt, I'm taking a lap. And I came up, hit it close to the hole and knocked it in. And it was just, I gave weight to the situation and was like, you know what, like, I've got to regroup and hit this again. But it still the shot still means something. It's not like I'm just going to give up or pick up my ball after that.
And it's not like you hit 2 extras and then decide to play that one. It was like,
Right.
I have to play this ball, and this hurts, and I'm pissed, and
Right.
I'm not happy.
Right.
And, yeah.
It also teaches you course strategy too, because especially that ball that I hit in the water, it's easy for me to just drop another one and hit it. But I remember I was hitting a full 9. I was hitting a full 9, and I was going right at the pin. But what I didn't know, and what I should have known, is that the pin was in the front, and that why don't you just hit an 8? If it flies, it's still on the green, and there's no chance of me coming up short.
And you're in the BPN most likely.
And I'm in the BPN most likely. So I'm just hitting myself. Like, dude, like, why didn't we just? It makes you think through the course strategy a lot more intentionally.
Rather than, well, let me just hit another one and hit it better.
Yeah, hit it harder, right?
Hit it harder,
yeah.
and let's say you hit it good, then you reinforce it. Okay, that was probably the better decision.
Exactly.
It perpetuates this cycle of like you're just making these subtle little errors.
Right.
And any one of those by themselves isn't a bad thing.
Right.
But when you start compounding and you start ingraining those little tiny habits,
yep.
you start creating. You create the monster that it is that you fear.
And we were talking about it on the back tee as well when we were talking about our stock yardages, and we were talking about stock yardages. I remember mine being they're a little short of what I really want them to be at the end of the day, but you have to play with the yardages that you got. And I remember a couple weeks ago too, I was in here with Tate, and Tate was getting his numbers on the quad, and I remember him hitting like 4 or 5 of like the same club. And he was just trying to, keep on upping those distances. And I was like, remember, man, you're going to be playing with the average of what you're hitting right here. So let's not write down the largest number when it comes down to this. We're going to be taking what's actually going to be going out there on the course. And if that means your 8-iron goes X, you're going to be playing with that. You're not going to be hitting it perfect every single time or just crushing the ball every single time.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's difficult. I was telling you about my new 7-wood that I have. That's a regular flex.
Yeah.
And I was playing the other day. I didn't quite dial the distance in correct the first time I hit it on number 3, and I hadn't hit it at all yet. So like, it's totally clean ball. But after that, you pulling it out, yeah. After that, I hit it on number 5. We were into the wind, 190. It's like dead straight normal. It's like 235. If I hit it full, it's 235. So it's 190, slightly into the wind. It's raining a little bit. It's probably playing about 205. So I'm taking 30 yards off this club. Ball never leaves the flag stick. I hit it to 5 feet. And then I had it on 8, playing from 4 fairway. If I drive so bad on 4, on 8, just super nervous about going left. And I decided to hit 7-wood from down in the valley there, probably only about $180. Hit it to 12 feet and was like, done. I'm going, can I just have a bag full of 7-woods? But like, I like that it's a softer flex, and I like that its bias is left because I know it's never going to go right.
Sure.
And so I can dial it into whatever I want. It's basically like, it feels to me like I'm hitting another wedge. It basically feels to me like I'm hitting my gap wedge, which is my favorite club in my bag.
Right.
It's almost identical. Yeah. Like I just dial it way back
now,
and hit it.
Question for all the equipment nerds out there. You said that you don't have to – did you say you don't have to worry about it going left? Or you –
I like that it goes left.
You like that it goes left.
On my bad swing, it goes left.
Now, answer me this for all the club heads out there. If you've got a weaker shaft, so let's say I swing X flex and I go down to regular. If I'm swinging at my normal club speed, shouldn't that mean that the club is lagging behind and then I'm going to end up spraying it to the right?
Typically, it'll go right. Now, in my motion, when it's regular flex like that, in my motion, my legs will stop and I'll throw the club head. Now, if I have a stiffer flex shaft, for me, I'm less likely to do both of those things, and so, like, I'm forced to kind of have to pony up, but I'll hit it straighter, and it's stiffer, and the face is a little more quiet.
Sure.
But, like, I can hit it really bad.
Yeah.
But this is always left. It might go right because I'll try and save it with my hands if it's stiffer. But this one is always going to go left. So then I could just dial in the motion a little bit tighter, and it won't go left.
Dude,
and I need more lag in my golf swing. So I like that all my misses with all of these clubs are all left.
Right. Man, this the hazardous red shaft with the red grips and the Strixon Mark II branding with it being black and red just looks so good. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can look at the club right now. It looks sweet.
It's, but, like, where was I going with this whole thread of hitting 7-wood?
Well, we were just talking about playing with, like, what we actually hit the club.
Oh, yeah. So, like, I'm sitting here going, am I about to hit a 7-wood from 180 yards?
Yeah, it's like that could be like a stock.
That used to be 6-iron, flighted. I'm going, I'm hitting a 7 wood. I'm a PGA golf professional who's been playing for a long time as a very technically sound golf swing, and I'm hitting a 7 wood. Like, what's wrong with me? And it's not what's wrong with me. We're back to there's one rule that you hear in the opening, right? Is like, there's one rule, shoot a lower score. And for me, it gives me a lot of comfort to hit those clubs. And I have a lot of control over it. Like, whatever the number is, however far it goes, is however far it goes. You don't have to. If you can hit it straight, if you make the correct motion with a 7-iron and the correct motion with a 5-iron, like, why not just hit a 5-iron instead of a 7?
Here's another knowledge bomb here. One of my mentors told me this. She told me, she said, just because you have a natural talent in doing something and you don't think it's valuable, it doesn't mean it's not valuable to the world. It doesn't matter that it's not effective. It matters that you can do it and notice that is a skill of yours. One thing that I think is a skill of yours is that you're really good at flighting the ball, taking distance off, putting distance on. You're able to do that well, and you're able to use the strengths of that 7 wood by making it fly, catching a flyer, knocking something down.
I'm probably not going to hit it full hardly ever.
Taking spin off of the ball because you're not hitting it with an iron, right? So it's like you're able to craft that club, but just because it's a skill of yours doesn't mean it's not valuable and that it's not the way to play the game. Like, you're just playing to your strengths, which a lot of people, I feel like they're like, all right, if I need to hit this 180, that means that I need to, all right, what's my max distance on my 6-iron? Okay, I'm going to hit this full. It's like, what if you don't have to?
Well, yeah, it's interesting that you say that because I had a lesson with a guy the other day. He'll probably listen to the podcast. Like, he wants to hit full shots. Like, I can do it with a knockdown, and he had told me that like 2 weeks prior to his lesson. And I sat there and I talked to Elijah afterward, and I was like, if he can do it with a knockdown, why doesn't he just hit the knockdown? He's like, but that's not the way I want it to be. I was like, but what if that's the way that it is?
Yeah.
Now, it's funny because I have the same struggle. So in my motion, I have to feel my shoulders are really retracted like this through the whole motion and do a little work with my legs. And I don't feel like I have any control of the club head with my hands, which is fine. Like, it's going to go really straight. We had talked about this. But, like, I feel like I'm just hitting knockdowns everywhere, like the ball's not going to go anywhere. And Hank told me a long time ago, 2011, 12, he said, your golf swing is going to be awesome. You're just going to hit lots of knockdowns everywhere, lots of flighted shots. Well, what is the best club in my bag? My wedges. You want me to hit an 8-iron 105 yards? You got to see me do the 2-iron in here on the simulator at 145-yard shot.
Yeah.
Hit this little soft, weak cut that just, like, goes up there within, gets it on the green. Like, it's something I'm good at doing. So, but like, am I okay with that's my game? Or is there, like, what is it that I'm wanting? What's the rule that I'm following? That's not that, if that makes sense. I love that y'all are talking code over here. It's so good. But like, what is the rule that I'm trying, what is the, in my first book, and Elijah's loving this, chapter 1, what master are you serving? I'm serving like I need to feel like I'm making a full swing. I need to look like I'm making a full swing. I need to hit it farther. I'm a PGA pro. I shouldn't hit hybrids and fairway woods as my clubs. Like, there's all of these things that are like not? Tugging.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, why do I care what all of them think?
Sure.
If there's one rule to shoot a lower score, and that's what we're pushing. And so we're pushing this year in club fittings. We're going to push a ton of hybrids and high lofted fairway woods because they're so effective for the vast majority of people.
Now, you once told me, you said, Jack, when you and I'm starting to feel this. You go, Jack, when you really come into your own, your game is going to be a really good iron player. Why would you recommend, let's say, like a 3 and a 4 iron to me over like a 5 hybrid or 4 hybrid?
I love how you ask this question. The answer is I don't know. That's a sense that I have, is that you'll be really good with that. I think too, the heavier shaft, if I'm trying to work myself into the answer right now. Why might I say that? I think the heavier shaft is better for you than when you go to graphite. You would have a fairly difficult time.
Yeah. And you, I was thinking about it on the back tee.
I think the 60-gram driver that you have, don't know is the right.
I agree with that.
Right flex.
I totally agree with that. But I'll end it with this on the club stuff is when I was playing baseball, I always swung a DeMarini bat, and that's just a brand out there, and they always had two different models. They had the Voodoo model and the CF model. And those they're just branding at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The CF model was more of a bat that was weighted in the middle. So it was an even weight distribution throughout. I didn't like swinging the CF. I like swinging the Voodoo. Now the Voodoo was a heavier because it was in loaded, and so I feel like I could feel the tip of the bat come around in the strike zone, and
it's a heavier swing.
Correct. So technically, the CF model, you can get your hands through the zone quicker. But if you have strong hands and strong forearms, then you can use the Voodoo and you can get that weight around. If you can get that weight around and make solid contact with the ball, that ball's going to go forever.
Which makes sense because
which related to the golf.
Which relates to you're going to be better with the long iron.
Correct. And you were even talking about how you
I couldn't tell you why.
Right,
I was just
right.
telling you but that makes sense.
But you were saying on the back tee, you said, dude, like I could play your irons if I wanted to, but like I don't want to because I can't even feel where the head is.
I have no idea where the thing is.
Because my clubs are so heavy, yeah?
So I would probably be better with the other.
With the CF bat. The CF. Yeah.
It's you know what we need to try and find? We'll have to do an eBay search. We need to find an old steel shafted driver.
Oh.
And let you play with a steel shafted driver.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Cool.
So relating this all back to the solo, what is one way where people can really improve their game other than what we talked about as far as weaning them off of those rehits? How does somebody really get into playing better with mulligans?
I think the simplest thing is to finish everything out. These are actually some of my favorite beginner students. Is the people like, hey, I shoot 127, like that's my scoring average, or 115. Like they literally track every single shot. There's value to that because then we know whatever improvement we make is real, tangible improvement.
Yeah, even if it's 120 to 110, you can be like, dude, I shaved 10 strokes off.
Now, if you've taken a lesson with Elijah or me, and you're working on uneven lies, and you want to go out there and play in an evening, like play after 6 o'clock and get the cheaper rate, and go play 9 holes, and you want to try uneven lies, don't play for a score. Hit 2 or 3 balls. Just don't even hit a tee shot. Just go out and hit 2 or 3 balls in multiple places and learn, right? It's hard to learn uneven lies on a tee ball.
Sure, yeah.
So go out there and just learn how to hit those different shots.
Yeah.
And you need to create, am I playing for a score or am I playing to learn?
Mm-hmm. And even if you are playing to learn, try and take it, like we would always say this in sports.
Take it seriously, like
take
it's
it
the
seriously.
first time.
We would always say this, like in baseball or even basketball practice. It'd be like, game speed here, boys, game speed, and that means when you're playing sports, but game speed. But to relate that to golf, take it seriously when you're hitting these shots. Act like it is the only one that you're gonna hit.
Well, and I would say this, like if you hit 3 so you drop it on number 1 out here on the hill on the left, hit 3 from that spot, then finish all 3 of those out.
Ah, yeah.
So you're creating like, hey, I'm going to have to finish these out and keep track of what would your score be.
Sure.
All right, I'd be 1 over. I would average 1 over on this all. I would have made bogey on all of them.
Or if we want to do another podcast about this, we've probably described it on a podcast before, but the Crazy 8 game.
Yeah, we'll have to do We'll have to introduce Crazy 8s, and we'll have to like display it on YouTube so you can see
that'd be fun.
what the actual penalties are.
Do it with a shot tracker and everything.
Dude, Crazy 8s.
Shot tracer.
We need to go do Crazy 8s one time and kind of film it.
Yeah.
The array of emotions and your focus in and out and trying too hard and too little and everything in between, you will hit every single one of those in 9 holes playing Crazy 8s.
Yeah.
And it is an absolute onslaught mentally and physically.
For sure.
It's absolutely incredible.
We'll go ahead and end it right there just because, I think this all relates to the solo really well and how you guys can really take your game to the next level. And just know, too, that you can get to that next level whenever you want to. You just have to decide in the way that you practice and the way that you play. And I think you really will see some improvement. So
who's your Masters pick? Since this is going out on the start of Masters Week.
Maybe we should
pick one.
Oh, yeah. I already made the Masters prediction. I said it's going to be Rory.
I don't even remember who I said.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take a hot take. Scotty Scheffler.
I don't think that's a hot take.
is going to repeat.
I'd love to see that.
Like, we don't see very many repeats.
Yeah.
Like, Spieth almost did it and then choked it away.
Just to reaffirm my pick, the only reason I picked Rory, number one, I actually think he's playing some pretty decent golf right now. Played pretty well in the match play this past weekend.
Yep.
But I just want to see him get that career Grand Slam.
Yeah,
That's
I agree.
all
I think that would be awesome.
But I will say, seeing Scheffler repeat would be amazing too. Like, I'd be just as hyped for that.
I want to see Ricky win this week and get into Augusta.
Because he's not top 50, is he?
He's not top 50. He's so freaking close, dude. He's so close.
I mean, even if
he's come from
if he gets to top 5, he'll be in. Surely.
His game was on beyond life support.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he was pronounced dead at the scene, and he is coming back to life, dude. Butch Harmon is breathing life back into that golf game.
There's no exemptions in the Masters either.
No,
So,
he has to win.
Yeah. He has to win, or can he place like top 5?
I think he has to win.
But you just got to be in the top 50, no?
But it's the week before the tournament. All those top 50s have already been chosen.
Yeah.
So he has to win. A win gets him in.
Wow. Hey, wouldn't it
That
be...
would be epic.
Wouldn't it be
I
epic?
have to win to get into Augusta, and I win and get into Augusta.
I was about to say, what if he wins and gets in and then wins? Wouldn't that be a storyline to follow?
That would be, like... That would solidify not only Ricky as a good player, but that would solidify Butch Harmon as the greatest golf instructor on the face of the planet.
Well, I think it's a big
Ever.
enough. I think it's a big enough feat that that'd be like an ESPN 30 for 30. Like, easy.
Yeah, you'd follow,
the whole 2
Butch
weeks
and him and the whole deal. Like,
the whole 2 weeks, dude.
he's gonna have a whole special episode on the next Full Swing, documentaries.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to talk more about the Masters. We'll talk about that more on future episodes as well. Or maybe we'll put in another like short one before Masters Week actually releases with like all of our official picks and stuff. So we'll talk about that.
We may just post that to social and say, hey, here's our picks. Who are your picks?
I love that too. Well, I think that's great. But hopefully you guys played well in the solo and you're looking forward to playing in it next year. I'll say this as a plug for the solo for next year for 2024. If you are new to the game, you haven't played much tournament golf or anything that's really high stakes or high pressure, I would highly encourage you to play in the solo next year.
It's so much.
It's so much fun.
Yeah,
you get so many chances, and you don't. There's really no pressure at all.
Right. Nobody cares what you shoot in that tournament, and you're gonna hit so many extra shots.
And it'll get you that tournament feel. It'll get you that
without
tournament
the
feel.
pressure of a normal
100%. So just a plug for what Franklin Bridge is doing and the events that we're putting on to make golf fun for everybody, no matter the skill level or how long you've been playing. So love it. Well, from Jack and Scott here in the studio at Franklin Bridge, it's been the No Mulligans Podcast. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.